Welcome back to another edition of Q2 Project Management. I'm Kurt Bell, your project manager for today. And today we're going to be talking about one of the last activities that occurs in the project management lifecycle, namely the project closure meeting. This is a meeting held at the very tail end of a project to wrap things up. So we're going to examine a project that's closed and completed to get an idea about how that looks. So we're looking at the dashboard right now on the screen. I'll make that a little bit bigger so that it's a little easier to see. You can see that we have a couple of projects here that are almost done. So I'll be wrapping this project up actually today and tomorrow. And this one right here, given that it's yellow, it's actually not going to complete. We're going to have to push that back a little more. The customer has come to us with some more items. We've learned more about what needs to be done. So we're going to have a little bit of a change on the project. And I'll talk in other videos about how to execute a project change. But the project that I'm looking for is not on the dashboard because it is closed. So it's going to be down here deeper in this list. And in particular, that project is the Ihss ticketing system. And I have that open right here. So let me make that just a little bit bigger. Ikram, is that big enough to see?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now this was a project where we were developing a software application to aid in ticketing assignment. So we have a department that has basically personnel scattered all throughout Riverside County. And currently, people that we serve, when they need to contact someone for help, there's no single number to call. They call, they look us up, they find whatever number they can find, maybe someone that they've dealt with in the past, and they call them up. A lot of the people that they're calling are very busy personnel who have particular assignments, they're working with caseload, and they can't be having their phone ringing all the time just for questions that are not particularly related to their responsibility. And basically, in other words, they're not able to execute their job because they're taking care of other work that could be handled in a better way. There are people that do have the information the others are after. So the agency decided that they wanted to have a consolidated call center. So just one telephone number that customers, county residents could use to ring in to the call center, and a dedicated staff of call center personnel who would answer the phones and then do one of two things. One, if the question was such that the call center personnel could answer the phone, or answer the question, they would do so there on the spot. Two, if the question required a specialist for help, then the call center personnel would assign that call to a particular unit, maybe even a particular person, sometimes to a supervisor who would then distribute the workload out, and then have the call routed effectively to the people that could truly answer the question. They could then balance the workload and make sure that the calls are going to the right people, because before, people were calling any number they could find, and then probably there wasn't the right person. They would then have to route that to somebody else, and it's a very inefficient system. So our task was basically to develop an application that could be used by the call center, which didn't exist. They were going to create the call center from scratch, repurpose personnel for that work, and then we would create an application that would do that for them. This is the project that we executed to deliver that application, which is called the ticketing center application. Very early on, you can see there's this document called a 1480. This particular department uses the 1480 to initiate all project requests. So way back on May 22nd, I believe this was 2017, we had our project kickoff meeting shortly thereafter. You can see, Ikram, that I actually had the kickoff meeting earlier than I would like to. I would usually want to have the kickoff meeting after the proposal. I wasn't given that option. So this is a very high priority project. I was basically told, assemble the team and get going. So we got a kickoff meeting started, and you can see that right there, the development, you and I were talking about this morning, this very thing, right? So here's the project. Come up with the project plan, phase project charter. Meanwhile, people are developing stuff, right? And there they were. The development and test phase had started. Development was underway. And meanwhile, up here under the planning phase, I'm developing the business case, the proposal, and the project plan. You can see I had some overlap there. That's because there was a lot of back and forth. As I was kept on getting to the proposal, they kept coming back and changing the business case. That was my bad. That's because I didn't write a good business case. And I have since learned my lesson as a project manager. I'm now able to write business cases that have a clean end and start to the project proposal. I've eliminated this overlap. I learned my lesson here. And then the project plan was over here. And here's the point, you and I were talking this morning about actually laying in the schedule.
Yes.
It's after this project plan, that's when I could lay in the schedule. But look at all the work that had already been done. Actually, we were almost done with development by the time I was ready to lay in the schedule. in fact, with regard to training, we were prepping for implementation.
Yes.
At that point. The cart was really ahead of the horse. Okay, then we had our initial test phase. Then we had what is that? That's a ticketing and manual training. Oh, that's right. We had developed a training session, a training course. I had developed that. And then we had a special session here, a couple of days where we had executed the training for the staff development, which is the training arm of this department, who then took it over. We then had our pilot test phase. We had a soft rollout. We coordinated the pilot test phase with the soft rollout. We had our initial training activity, and then we had a 2-week readiness, and then full implementation right there. So this isn't as smooth or as clear a project as I would like. I like to think that I've gotten things tighter since 2017. It's been almost 3 years.
Yeah.
So actually, this is 2018 now. So I guess that was, I can't remember what year this was that we started.
2018.
Yeah, probably that was the same year.
Yeah. 2018.
So it wasn't that long ago. So I have no excuse.
Last year.
So what I want to talk about today is this little bit right here, a little tiny bit up at the top, which is the closure phase. That's actually what I'm working on right now over here. If we open up this Windows 10 project, let's take a look at that.
So I noticed that the closure phase you mentioned from October 3rd to October 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like almost takes about a week?
Yes, usually.
Closure?
Yeah. Although I've learned my lesson just recently. This is the Windows 10 project, a ginormous 3-year project. This is just one of the phases. And you can see I'm in the closure phase right now, and I'm nearing the end, and I've simply run out of time.
Yeah.
This project, the work that I need to do to have a proper closure meeting is just too much for me to do. So I'm probably going to close the project out and schedule the closure phase a little bit beyond that. But back to our ticketing app, what I wanted to show you is the work that I need to do the closure phase. There are 2 documents that need to be developed for that. And if we scroll down through all this stuff, this is all the work we did. There they are. Closure phase. There's a closure report, and then there's a closure meeting. And the report consists of an actual document that we create. It's a Microsoft Word document, and plus a PowerPoint presentation. And I want to show that to you real quick. First of all, let's go into our document library and find the phase project charter. Remember, the phase project charter is the contract for the project. It's tough if you're not given an opportunity to actually do this. Charter. Now this is an old one, Ikram. So this is a phase project charter before I had the new.
Template.
Yeah, it's an older template, so it'll look a little different than what you're used to seeing. But there's just one piece in there that I want to show you as soon as it opens up a little bit more. Oh, there it is. Open in Desktop app. The phase project charter is the contract between the customer and us, describing what the problem is we need to solve, our options for solving it, and the selected choice. Actually, this looks pretty current, so this must have been, I was wrong, so this is pretty darn current. If we scroll down, you can see there's all the activities that we did developing this document. The document was finally finalized in August, and I think we started looking in May. So it was 1 year. We started in May and finished in August. So that's 3 months to work on this. So don't feel bad if it takes you a while to get through your project charter. The part I want to show you is way down here under the project proposal. There's our timeline. You can see that kind of replicates what you were seeing before. Planning and development and training are kind of overlapping. If we just take a look real quick at that, get rid of this, you'll see the same thing on our timeline here. Looks like steps, planning, development, and training. So what I would probably do actually today if I was doing this project is I would color this to mark the phases. There's the planning phase. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And the development phase. And the training phase. See, those are kind of like a 3 steps marking down. Oh, and then of course up here, the closure phase. That deserves to be that color too. There we go. Now compare that to this. It's the same thing.
Yes.
It looks the same. So we told them, this is before we told them we're going to develop and we're going to plan and we're going to develop and we're going to have training. All that's going to kind of overlap for a while, and then we'll have a closure right at the end. But there's no dates on any of this. This is just levels of effort. So, but a little further down, or there it is. Let's count the number of items. These are the promises that we made. We told them that for this project, you're going to get 30 items. Again, my overworn analogy of the window sticker on a truck, if you're buying a new truck, that's what's on the window sticker. For this project, you're getting all of this. Okay, there are 30 items. The reason that that's important is that locks in the scope. That's the agreement between us and the customer that this project, if you want this project done,
This is, what do you call that table? That table which you...
Project deliverables.
Okay, deliverables.
Yes.
Got it.
Deliverables and measures of success. Basically what we're telling the customer is, if you want the project done at this level of effort, which says 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and 2 weeks, then you better not add anything more than this, and don't change anything, right? This is all you can get. If you come with more stuff, if you come with a 31st item, well, guess what? This schedule may not be valid anymore.
Yes.
So that's why I was saying a little earlier that you're moving forward, you're being asked to move forward.
Yes.
I hope you don't mind me saying this publicly, but you're being asked to move forward without that document.
Yes.
You don't have that protection.
No, you don't.
Someone's going to come along with item number 31.
Yes.
And you're still going to have to get it done at the same date that you told them.
Yes. And I think that's one of the reasons client normally hesitate to sign or
Yes.
commit to this document.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. That's probably a conversation we should have off camera. But yeah, that is absolutely the case. I've run into that many a time. That I've had hesitancy from people to sign because they know they're locking themselves in. But that's good business. That's the way that we need to do it. That's how we are able to keep promises, keep deadlines, and stay within budget.
Yes.
Right? Otherwise, it's all bets are off.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to show you is one more time, and we're down to about 12 minutes in, 30 items here. Now, hopefully, I'm going to keep my promise, because one of the closure documents is the closure report. And that closure report, I actually take this same list and I copy and I paste it into the report. And I basically say, at the very end of the project, do you remember, I say to everybody, I invite to the closure meeting, everybody is invited. Everybody, do you remember those 30 things we promised to do? I'm going to put that on the screen right now, and we're all going to come to an agreement if we delivered that or not.
Yes.
Okay? So let's look at that document. So 30 items. Hopefully I won't be shown to be a fibber. So it's in the document library, and it should be the let me just do a little search. Closure. There we go. There's 2 of them. There's a closure report and a closure. They're the same thing, but one's a PowerPoint and one's a document.
Okay.
So let's open both of them. Let's open the document first in Word. So what I do is I prepare this document, and then this is what I hand out to everybody in the room. So everybody's got a copy of this. And then, oh, there it is. Well, maybe, hold on. That's the charter. Good. Here it comes. I've got 2 there. There's the closure report.
Yes.
Looks very similar, but it is different. And then the other one is the presentation, which is a PowerPoint. And they go hand in hand. So I give everybody comes in, I give everybody a handout of the document, and then I start this presentation. And let's just kind of go over this presentation real quick, shall we? Let's do an F5.
October 9th. 2 days after this closure, October 11th was my first day in the county.
No kidding. That was your first day.
Last year, yeah.
Outstanding. Let's see. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to put this up. So here we go. Hopefully that comes up on the screen as a presentation. So we have about 15 minutes left, and here comes Microsoft Word PowerPoint thinking away. Oh, that's Microsoft Edge. Just a second. While that's thinking, let's take a look at the closure report real quick. So this is the closure report. Scroll down. Had to do a few edits. And this is the document that they all get. Okay, how many items are on that list?
30.
30, right. That is the same item. And do you see what it says along here? Okay, there's the item, here's the description. This column was in the other. Completed.
We have asterisk on some of the yes.
There'll be a little asterisk. We'll look into it. We'll find out.
Okay.
That's down at the bottom. But do you see what the case that I'm making in the meeting? I'm saying all of those 30 things that we promised, did we complete them? Yes, 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 with some caveat, right? Here's the caveat. This functionality was delivered, though some enhancements were identified to be included in version 2 of the application.
Okay.
So we delivered it, but it wasn't quite what we described, what we promised for some reason, right? Some change happened. Okay, so there we go. And then here is a summary of the actual important dates and milestones. Here's the dates that we actually promised. Here's the dates that we actually delivered.
Okay.
Looks like we hit all of our dates except we were 1 day early.
Earlier, yes.
So this reads really good to the
Yes.
customer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they love it when they see, and they love it in RCIT. Management loves it as well.
Yeah.
Okay? So we gave you what you would want. We did it in the time that we told you we'd do it.
Yes.
And then here's some other things. Lessons learned.
Yes.
Here's the link to the project documentation. Here's the links to the application that we created. Please note that there's a test environment and a production environment. Here's ongoing DPSS responsibilities. That's a really important one because when this project closes, we wrap it up. I go on to a new project, right? But there's still stuff that needs to be done, DPS, but it's DPSS that's going to do that, including new user training, application configuration, and user access management. And I think that's almost it. Oh, here's all the human resources. This is a list of all of the team members on the project, and they have been released from the project. All of these people are in the room typically. And I say,
Okay.
you, and you're all done.
Okay.
No longer, you're not part of this project anymore.
Yes.
Yep. And then there's the closure plan, information about how I'm going to communicate the closure, through email and team meetings. And then further, if you need more help, go see the help desk, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's it. And then I get them to sign, right? So I get signatures at both ends. Now let's go back and see if that showed up yet. Here we go. I clicked that, wrong one. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, so here's how it goes down. We have 12 minutes. Imagine I gave that document to all of you. Everybody's in the room. I typically buy donuts, which is problematic because I ride a motorcycle to work, so I have to carry a lot of donuts on the back of the bike. They come in a little squished. So I bring donuts. I have a huge room like this one. Everybody's in here. It's usually standing room only. Okay, everybody, welcome to our IHSS Home Application Project Closure Report. We're going to cover today project completion, the criteria for completion, any outstanding items. We'll summarize the project, show you the completed schedule, any lessons learned, project documentation links, application links, and ongoing responsibilities, as well as what's happened to our human resources and our communication plan, and our further support. You see, I haven't rehearsed this for over a year. Okay, here's our deliverables and measures of success. This is the same thing on the sheet, right? So here's our 30 items, right? These are the 30 items we promised we would do through the contract. Let's review, and now we go over them one by one, okay? This is really important. Now watch how I do this, okay? We're going to cover 30 items. The first item was the ticket initiation. This was to develop a system that could initiate a new ticket or open an existing ticket upon receipt of a call. Was it achieved? Yes, it was. Now, Ikram, what I do at this point is I pause and I look around the room. I'm waiting for somebody to say no.
Okay.
And this is important. This causes everybody to realize, yes, this is done.
Yes.
Yeah, this is done, right? And move on to, okay, everybody, we're all in agreement this is done. Speak now, forever hold your peace, you're married. You know, go forth and prosper. The next one is a search capability. Provide a search functionality. We delivered this.
Yes.
Now I start moving up the pace, right? That first one is important. Linger for a while on that first one. ID verification, yes. User rights permissions, yes. Here now we're going, that's like a choo-choo train taking off, right? Let's get us up to 30. This takes about a few minutes based on, depending on the size of the project, we're halfway there. Oh, yeah, that was an interesting one there. Verify, backup district offices. That was one where in the meeting, before the meeting, I really couldn't get a solid answer that it was done. So I verified in the room that it was done, and they verified it for me. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Was that something which the team verified during the meeting?
Yeah, during the meeting. I really needed everybody to be on board because this involved the district offices. So I needed representatives from the various district offices, and it was hard for me to get a hold of them all, but they all came to the meeting.
Okay.
So I said, you, and you, did we do this? Because you guys are the ones, and they all said yes.
Okay.
So then it was a yes. And here we go, a few more. There's another verify. And the last one. So I say, oh great, congratulations, we've delivered everything we were going to do. Do we have any outstanding items? Project wrapped up meeting and closure emails. Hey, the meeting's happening right now. The emails will happen immediately after. And that's a responsibility of me. Any risks? No outstanding risks. Any issues? No outstanding issues. Everybody, do you all agree? Are there any risks or outstanding issues or deliverables with this project? Silence.
Good.
And I let that silence linger for a few seconds. Right? Again, it's reinforcing in their mind that we're done.
Yes.
Here's the same thing, right? You know, the completion dates. Let's review. Lessons learned. SharePoint training. We learned to provide upfront SharePoint training for those who may not be familiar with this tool. This is the tool that we're using, the SharePoint methodology.
Yes.
What I discovered was I jumped right in. People couldn't, they didn't know what SharePoint was. It was still pretty early. So I needed to give the team SharePoint training. So I do that with all of my teams now. That was the only lesson learned. Project documentation, we have the business case, the project proposal, the project plan, the schedule, the team roster, the risks, the logs, the meeting notes, and the closure report. So those are the artifacts of the project. And all of these projects live in the SharePoint site. Here's our application links. We have our production link and our test server. Ongoing responsibilities for DPSS, user training, application configuration, and user access management. And I think that, and here's the team, these are all the people. You are all free. Go forth. Released from the project. You're all released.
Okay, great.
Okay. Project closure communication plan. We have to have a meeting. It's going to be project sponsors. The message. It's going to be via email. I was going to send that on 10/12, and it's my responsibility. The team, we had the meeting. Project has been successfully completed and now closed. Another email. Going to be sent on the same day by me. So even though everybody came here, I'm going to send a final email, a custom email to the sponsors, and a custom email to the whole team. That's their paper trail that this is done.
Okay.
And I think that's it. That's the last slide for support. And then at that point, we all have pizza.
Oh, that's good. One question. In the project closure document, you explain what those asterisks
Yes.
were. But during the presentation, I didn't see those.
I didn't, right. So I rely on them to be able to look it up and read it.
Oh.
Yeah, if someone asks, they can do it, but I didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually I have done this, I do this about twice a year now with my projects my projects tend to last a long time.
Okay.
So every single one of my projects that I've had this closure meeting on, they all, what I mean is they all go to sleep. I mean, they're gone. Nobody ever calls me.
Okay.
Because they all understand. Because what happens is if I don't do this closure meeting, people have it in the back of their mind if they have a problem with the ticketing center. Oh, well, Kurt's my guy.
Yes.
Right? You know, because they think that but no, this is done. Help desk is your gal or guy, right?
Yes.
Now, if we're running an application as a product rather than a project, then that's different. Then I'm still around because I'm the
Yes.
product manager rather than the project manager.
Yes.
Does that all make sense to you?
Yes.
All right.
How long does normally this closure meeting last?
I usually have 2 hours to an hour to 2 hours, depending. An hour is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while since. Sometimes I make it a longer if we're gonna have socializing.
No.
Like sometimes the teams have been together for a long time, so we like to just hang out for a while or something like that. And that is how it works. The Win 10 project closure and the IHSS ticketing one right there. I thought I would change that earlier.
So one other question related to especially this IHS ticketing system project.
Yes.
Let's say for reference purposes, if I want to go and look at the closure document, how to, you know.
Yeah, no problem. Just let me know and I'll send.
Okay.
I'll give you access to the site.
Okay.
Happily do that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then I'm going to go ahead and finish for today. I want to thank you all for joining us. If you have questions about project management using this methodology, don't hesitate to email me, kbell@rivco.org. That'll be scrolling across the screen right about now. Also, if you're out there in the interwebs and you have an interest in maybe a career as a project manager with the County of Riverside, reach out to me and let me know. I'll keep you posted if job openings come up. You can also get certified in our methodology here by taking the training that we offer. It's available on our YouTube channel. And if you're a county employee, it's available through Core Learning with formal certification. I'd like to thank you all for joining us again. And as always, make every meeting matter. Take care.